Hey boardies, welcome to AmassGames. My name is Simon. Today we're doing a setup, play and a review for the game The Quest for El Dorado. Now, I've already given you a video for this and that is a review already with an unboxing, teaser, trailer, preview, over video. This is because I'm doing how to set up, play and review. So last time it was just about telling you what I thought about it, a bit of an overview relating to the fact that it's a deck building game by Knizia. It's one of his highest rated games, if not his highest rated game. You may recall I've already given this a 9 out of 10 and already mentioned that it is in my top 100 games of all time. I have played now through every single character, not that it makes any difference. I have sleeved it as well. I've also played through every base scenario, that's all about 7 or so. I've also played through with the Caves expansion as well, so I'll tell you all about that. You know, aside that is going to be a market. And if you are interested in watching this video, please ensure you hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell. Various different people we can play as. I'm just going to grab one for the time being. Let's go with red because it's kind of least like the board. Actually, white to be least like the board in this instance. So everything else go away, but of course you will need at least 2 for 2 players. Respective colour as well, so a bag per player. So chuck everything else as well around. So keep white out, get rid of everything else. So just checking I've got rid of everything else I don't need. I think that's it. There we go, get rid of yellow. So first player, most adventurer goes first. I'll just chuck that back in the box time being as well. You will assemble a game board. So you have a game board like this. Like I said, I have played every scenario. We'll be playing with somebody who actually is fairly new to gaming. They played all the 3 kind of classics, Catan, RIP Mr. Klaus Teuber, who I did see over at Essen in 2018. And we've also now got the board here. So if you're going first, you're going to start furthest away and you're going to have your board going outwards. You have various tiles out here as well, so this looks quite complicated, but don't worry, I'll explain everything. So you have a board something like this, and you're also going to have, I don't know, let's chuck out this as well, and obviously you're going to have a layout. So let's just say this is where we're trying to get to, and of course these are all double-sided, so they do have a letter in the corner of each of them. So in the centre here, you can actually see the letter M, and you're going to go out. So what you're going to do? Well, you have a deck of cards. You're also going to have some starting cards. Any questions, please let me know in YouTube is best. So it'll have a grey dot. So over here, you're going to have a scout. This allows you to move 2 positions. So you're going to start over here. So let's chuck out our white adventurer over on position 1. Now, the other one you'll do not need if you're playing a 3 to 4 player game. If you're playing this as a 2, you'll need both, and you'll both be moving both of them. And the first person to get both of them to the end will be the winner. You've also got obstacles. These are called barricades. Randomly grab these and place them between each of the 2 adjoining areas. So something like this. And for now, obviously, we're just playing with 2. And if ever there is a tie, so everyone will play a full amount of turns each. And at the end of that round, you'll see who happens to get there, obviously, if it's in the same round. Then whoever has the most of these barricades is the winner. If not, it's the person who, if it's a tie amount of barricades, whoever's got the highest value. So over here, we have a number 5 going on. So that goes out here too. I'll talk to you about barricades in a second. So let's just chuck that out in that position, or in this case, like you see, they can flip around. So we've got some places you can buy. Let's talk about that in a second, but let's place them out here. Then again, if there are any competitions, check out Linktree. They are time sensitive, so keep checking back. Also by Instagram, about 2,900 posts at time of recording. And there's playlists. This is in the How to Set Up, Play and Review playlist, the AmassGames playlist, amongst many others. So we've now got our adventurer here. I might just for reference chuck out another one in a second. There's also further market cards, which I'll leave out for the time being. So we have got our adventurer cards. Again, we've got 8 cards we start off with. You're going to shuffle up your 8 cards and then deal yourself 4. So at the beginning of each round, you'll deal yourself 4. So deal these up and just let you know what the distribution is. You're going to have 4 traveller cards. You're also going to have 3 explorer cards and 1 sailor card. So shuffle these up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you are then going to look at those cards. Those other 4 cards you'll look at in your next round. So those 4 we haven't going to look at, they're going to go down here, and then we're going to look at these 4 cards. Now in this instance, we've got 4 money cards. This allows us to buy something or move through a space which needs gold to be bribed. So let's have a look and see what on earth we could be buying. Let me leave this in shot here as well. Okay, so what could we buy? So we have got a few options. We can buy something up here. You can only buy one thing on your turn though. So looking at what is available, we can see that the cost is down the bottom. I could buy myself one of these, which allows me to move 2 spaces. This allows me to move 1 space, but I have more flexibility, 1 of each. So I can move either a green space 1, I can move a blue space one, so I can go through jungle once with a machete, one space with my paddle and blue in the water, or one space through a gold space, a village space, basically bribing people. So what else can I do? Well, we can also look at this next card, the photographer. This allows me in future turns, when I get it, I can actually move 2 positions. So, or maybe buy something worth 2. This one is, I think it's worth 4, so it's a money value of 4. I can only play it once and it's discarded, and it's going to cost me 3. This cost me 3, I can move 3 in green. Over here, I've got exactly 4. Let's go for this card, because it's efficient. In this case, I will discard it when it comes back to my turn, but in this case, you get to choose 1 card from the market, which is off the board, and place in your discard pile. So take those 4 cards, and now that's my turn finished. It's somebody else's turn, so just to give you a reference point, they take their turn, and let's just say they move a little bit. So just because we don't need to have green in play, they take their turn and they've moved some. Let's say they've moved here or whatever, or here, I don't know. So I've got 4 cards left. What can I do now? I could move instead, so I can go green move for 1, green move again for 2. In this case, I've got another green for 3. And I've got a blue 1, so I can now move a total of 4 positions. Now, instead of doing that, I could choose to have done the following. Each of these regular cards, not a yellow one, as a coin card basically, is worth 1 coin. So that's worth 2 coins, which means I could buy any of these 3 cards here. Again, I could buy that, but I won't get any change because you can only ever buy 1 card. And that's my turn finished. Now it's back to the next person's turn. And just per what's on your player aid here, it does state, you play each card from your hand, 1 by 1. So again, you don't reveal them until you need to. Then you match the power and the symbol to where you're going, and then you're buying new cards. Up to 1, you can buy 1 card, then you discard, and again, when you discard cards, for some reason, you might want to go to a location, you can keep a card back, but nobody knows what you're going to. Okay, and then you're going to shuffle up your deck when you're completely out of cards, so with nothing to draw up. At the end of your turn, you're going to draw up 4 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's look at our 4 cards, and so we've got this time. This time round, I could, just to show you how it works, I can move 1. So of course they've had their turn, and of course I could be blocked, so you can never go through a person. I have now got a space of 1 again. Now this time I've got a barricade, so I need to spend a gold, in this case, because it's golden, to move through 1 barricade. Why 1? Because it's got a value 1. If it's got a high value, you've got to pay the higher value. I get to keep that now, so some of them have a 2. That moves up. I do not move on to the neighbouring space, but in this case I can move an explorer of 1. Now in this case, I don't know how it was, maybe it was like this, I can move on to it. Otherwise, of course, I'll be blocked. You can never move onto these spaces. Now, these are like rocky spaces, you can never move onto them, but you can play the cave version, which actually speeds the game up, and they have various tiles on them. So you can place these down, face down. If ever you end your turn next to a cave tile, which you'll do at the beginning of the game before you start, then you can reveal it, and at some point in the game, you can do something. So this, in this instance, looks like you can play or discard 1 to 4 cards, and draw 1 to 4 cards. You can play this as a one-off. So I highly recommend the caves version as well. What else do we have here? This one, if you land onto that space, so now it's imagine it's my turn in this instance. I've got 4 cards. So I've got 4 cards, remember, I've got more cards now. And in this case, I can discard 2 cards and then I can move onto that space. This one, if you wanted to go over here for some reason, maybe you've got too many of your basic cards, and of course all the cards are more powerful afterwards, then you can discard a card and it goes permanent from the game. It's destroyed. So it thins your deck. And lastly, we have the transmitter. So now we're just going to talk briefly about other cards. So we have 3 of each type of card, including when you get other cards off market. So we have the captain, which, as you can see, pay 3 and you can move 3. So again, for every future turn, you can do that. We've got the compass, which again is a discarded card. It lets you draw 3 cards, but then that card is gone. We've got the giant machete, which lets you move 6, but again, it's discarded. The journalist, which allows you to move 3 or spend 3 money. So of course you could buy more stuff. The prop plane, which is a discard card, lets you move 4, but more flexible. The cartographer lets you draw 2 cards, and that's from your draw pile. Over here, we've got the adventurer, lets you move 2 more and be flexible where you move. The scientist, draw a card, then destroy a card from your deck. Over here, we've got the pioneer, which is you can move 5, and it's going to cost you 5. Got the native, it lets you move to the neighbouring space without paying its cost. And lastly, the millionaire, costs you 5, 1 off, of course, when you get it, and move 4. That is how the game works. You play again until the end of the round where somebody has landed on one of these spaces. When you do land on one of these spaces, you literally just move off it at the end of your turn so you do not block anybody else. Just to remind you, you are then the winner unless someone else has more obstacles than you do, or if it's a tie, then it's the amount on the obstacle, the highest value one, and not the cumulative value, the highest value obstacle. As you can see, that one has a 5 because it's 2 machetes. So if I've got a 5, you've got a 4 and a 2, I would still win. Sorry, if I had a 5 and a 1 and you had a 4 and a 2, I would win because I have a higher individual value for them. Like I said, I highly recommend all the paths, even for a beginner game. There's no problem playing with the difficulty levels as well. They do take slightly longer. There are a bit more tiles to play with, as you can see. And there are some fun alternatives that you can play out as well. Well, thanks so much for watching. I'll speak to you again very soon. For now, back to the table.